I do this thing called BIVO, which is breathe in, breathe out. So if everybody can just take a deep breath and breathe in, and then breathe out. Can we do that together? So I'm going to start. Okay, I get to play it too. So that works. My name is Cynthia Mendoza. You may know me as Muffy Mendoza because that's my name on Facebook, and that's where I meet most of the people I meet at. I'm from Pittsburgh Brown Mamas, which is a support group for Black moms here in Pittsburgh. And what we do is we just support each other in our motherhood journey. We just get together once a month, as often as we can, and do stuff with our kids, and just talk about stuff that affects mothers, specifically Black mothers. But what I'm going to be talking about today is this element of competition and connectivity between Black women. And well, first, I forgot. I definitely want to thank It's a Natural Thing and Tamaya and the It's a Natural Thing team, because I feel like this is a great forum where women can get together, and I know it makes me feel whole, so I know that it probably does the same for many of you guys. And so I just want to say thank you to them for even giving me the opportunity to speak. So the first question that I'll ask everybody in the group is, has there ever been a time, raise your hand if there's ever been a time where you felt like you needed to compete with another woman? And let's be really, really honest, because I'm going to raise my hand. I know there's definitely been times where I felt like I needed to compete with another woman. And so the second question that I'll ask is, for those of you who admitted to at one time in your life wanting to compete with another woman, what was the reason why you thought that you needed to compete with that person? I just need two people. You can yell out an answer.
A man.
What'd you say?
So, not me personally, but somebody else might have to compete for a man.
Okay, that's a good one. Anybody else?
A job.
A job? Anything else?
Status.
Status. Okay. Anybody? Okay, so those are pretty good answers, but I'm a person that likes to really take it deep. And I would say that I feel like most of the times when I was trying to compete with another woman, it was because, one, I felt like something was scarce, meaning there was a scarcity factor there. Saying I felt like there wasn't enough of something, and I needed to get that thing because you had too much of it and I didn't have enough. And then the other time I can be honest with myself and say that I wanted to compete because I didn't feel good about myself in the inside. So there was something about my esteem in particular that made me say, I'm not good enough, and you are. So I think that those are two of the big reasons why we try to compete. Scarcity, or perceived scarcity, supposed scarcity, and low self-esteem. But I think overall that most Black women, if they could get three things, would be peaceful and would not compete. And those three things I would say are, one, an unconditional mate, which means most Black women wouldn't feel like they needed to compete for a man, like Allegra said, if they held an unconditional mate. That means somebody who loves you unconditionally, never a thought in your head. That don't mean you like them all the time, because God knows these men is difficult to deal with. Their behavior sometimes is not perfect, but they love you at the end of the day. They make them, they love you. So every woman, period, regardless of race, religion, whatever, wants a mate, somebody who they can get home to at night and rub their booty. Let's be honest. So, at least that's what I'm looking for. I want my booty rubbed at the end of the night. So, one thing is a mate. The second thing most women want is to have children who can thrive. They want an environment for their children where they can thrive, and that's regardless of whether you're single, married, have children, or not have children. Even if you're a single woman who doesn't have children, you still want to see children who look like you doing well, because it makes you feel good about your future. It makes you feel like, damn, maybe I might not end up at the Leamington home with a busy life, right? So we want to see our children thrive. We want to have environments where we know our children are going to have a future. And I'm pretty sure everybody in here, because it's been all over the news, probably for the last maybe 2 or 3 years, is hearing about what's going on with Black boys in America. I have 3 sons, so that means that I've been kept up many a night thinking about what's going on at my son's school. Are people thinking things about him that aren't true? And just in general, does my son, or all 3 of my sons, going to have a future, or am I going to lose one? So I think that you can make a peaceful black woman if she also has that. She needs to have an environment where she feels like her children are going to be able to thrive. And the third thing is productivity. All women want to be productive. And they can say all they want that women belong in the household and, we just need to be barefoot and pregnant. Bottom line, I need to feel good about myself outside of these kids and this man. I need to feel like I have something that I can contribute to the world that is just for me. And most of the time just for me and these other women. So, those are the three things. We need unconditional mate. We need an environment where we can see a future for the youth, and we need productivity. We need to feel like we can do something beyond ourselves and be successful doing it. So, the question is, how does this element of competition keep us from getting all three of those things? Anybody know? Overcompensating? Good, very good answer.
You lose your focus.
Focus.
Fear.
That's the answer I was looking for. Fear. Because I boiled it down that all emotions come from two places: love and fear. So everything you do, regardless of what emotion it is, you can be scared, you can be anxious, you can be happy, you can be joyful, they come from two places: love and fear. That's it, nowhere else. So everything you feel, you need to boil it down to those places. But I would say this element of competition affects us in all three spaces. Because number one, this unconditional mate that you're out there looking for. I say this all the time to every woman that I meet. You are directly defined by the quality of the women you have around you. Meaning you can go no further than the women you have around you. So if the women you're hanging with are bar hopping every night, guess what the men you're going to be getting with are? They bar hopping every night. That's what you're doing. So you have to be honest with yourself and take a look. And that doesn't mean you leave your sisters behind. Because we should always be reaching for a sister. Period. Point blank. Everywhere you go, everything you do, you should be reaching to find out where can I connect with the sister at. But at the same time, it's like, I want a husband. I ain't trying to be going on cruises when I'm 60 by myself. I want to see Beyonce and Jay-Z when they on the cruise boat, because that's probably the only time I'm going to get to see them. But I don't want to be by myself. I want my Jay-Z too. So you have to think about that when you're thinking about competition among women, because if you're looking at another woman and you're saying, dang, I want that, but you're thinking of her as a competitor rather than a connector, that's going to be difficult. Because you're giving her a vibe that she's like, I'm not helping you out, man. I'm not doing that for you. And not only that, I'm not helping you, I'm not sharing no words of wisdom with you. Because you look at me as a competitor. So whereas when we see a married woman or and that goes for married women too. That's what we should be doing. We should be looking for mates for our single sisters. Or we should be raising sons that are going to be good husbands and fathers. I tell my sons that all the time. I don't care if you work a part-time job at Walgreens, you better go home to that sister, make sure she got a garden, make sure she got at least a Honda Civic. Because that's not right. That all these other women they leave from work and get off work to go tend to their garden, and we stuck 9 to 5. Wow. Because some sister down the line said, I'm going to let him slide with that. You got to take out the garbage today. If you're in my house, you do.
That's right.
Because you need to be able to do that for her, and I don't want that woman to come back to me later and say, what's up with your son? Why can't I depend on him to wash a dish or bring in a meal or do nothing? So we have to think about that when we're looking for this unconditional mate. Where is the sisters that's helping you? And if you are a sister and there ain't nobody you helping to find a husband, then what you doing? What you doing? We need to work at these things together. But that's why connection and competition do not fit in the same sentence. It's either one or the other. 2, we want to have thriving children. Same thing. You're directly defined. Your children are directly defined by the quality of the women they have around them. The village is with us. The men will come, but the village is sitting right here in this room of women who probably don't even know each other. But that's where the village is at. So if I'm getting up every day, it's my girl Erica here, and let's say Erica's getting up every day. Erica's taking her son to soccer practice, getting him in, taking him to the library, doing everything she gotta do to raise a good son. And I'm next door. And guess what I'm doing? Nothing. I'm just chilling. Just chilling all day. These kids will raise themselves. But guess what, Erica? You wanna go to the library? What y'all doing today? What you gonna do today? I found this flyer for this program. I just thought you might be interested. Because weeds and flowers grow together, honey. Somebody's gotta get out there and pluck the weeds. And that's the woman's job, is to get out there and pluck the weeds. Because eventually, if weeds and flowers grow together, the weeds is gonna strangle out the flowers. So even if you're raising a good kid who is thriving, you've got to do better than that. It's not just about your kid getting an A. It's about how can all these kids get an A so that when they go out, so when Erica's son decides, all right, I'm going out, I'm gonna start this engineering company, he can knock right on that door next door. All right, I need me a general contractor. You said your brother could be as an architect. How can we do this together? It's not just about your kid. We can't have thriving kids if it's only every 6 kids is succeeding. And that's directly defined by the women. Because let's be honest, we're raising the kids right now. So if we're raising the kids, it's up to us to decide that all the kids are going to do well, or at least the vast majority. The third thing is productivity. If we see each other as competition, we cannot be productive. Like I said, I'm very grateful to the whole International team for starting this. Because this was not only just a platform for them, this was a platform for me as well. A way for me to get my name out there. So we have to stop seeing each other even in the workplace. Your boss, if you continue to see her as competition, she's not going to be likely to give you a raise. You've got to find some common ground with this woman somewhere. And that doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything, because we are absolutely not. There's some things you like, there's some things I like. I say the sky is periwinkle, you say it's sky blue. Does it really matter is the question. You have your preferences, I have mine, but at the end of the day, I want to build just like you want to build. I want community just like you want community. So if that's the case, we got to find a common ground. There's got to be a common ground somewhere. So I can't build my business without reaching out to Maya and saying, how would you do that? Can you give me some pointers? And now I'm not a fan of giving everything away. I strongly believe you keep some stuff just for you and the people in your household, but you can give something away. Even if it's just a tidbit. Hey, you got your email is roughriders.com. Maybe you should think about changing that. You know what I'm saying? That's something you can share. Share something. Find something. Find some type of comment, some type of middle ground. That woman is not your competition. That's your booster right there. That's your access to the next level. So you can't compete with her. Period. There has to be a common ground of connection somewhere. And so, knowing those 3 things, and knowing that competition is getting in the way of those 3 things, I asked Crystal to hand out some papers. And it has 2 things that you have and 2 things that you want. And even if you don't have time to do that right now, I would encourage you to, at some point here, while we're here, to write down the 2 things that you have and the 2 things that you want, and to find somebody in the group that has those 2 things that you want. And connect with them. Yeah, if you didn't get it, you can get one from Crystal. Because at the end of the day, what you want may be right here in this room, and you just don't see it, because when you see your sister, you don't see her as your connection. So, okay, last question. Has everybody or anybody in this room seen the movie Avatar with the blue people? Raise your hand if you've seen the movie. Okay, so that's a good enough amount of people for me to talk about. So that's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie, period. Because in this movie, it's a tribe of indigenous people on another planet. And basically, these people are connected with every fiber of their being to the planet that they exist on. So they have these things, they have these they're big blue people. And they have these tails. And whenever they get the tail out, they whip it out, and they can connect it to anything in their environment. And it's kind of like they upload like a computer. So they can connect it to a plant or an animal or another person even. And they upload all that person's energy, all of that person's knowledge into themselves. And I love that about that movie. Because what that says to me is that my prayer is only a handshake away. What I want from my life is only a handshake away. And not only that, this sister right here, these sisters in this room have so much to give me that if I would get it, there would be no stopping, not just me, because I'm just me, us. There would be no stopping us. So I encourage you to think about that. Think about if you could upload everything that every woman in this room has into your system. What would you be?